Tokyo subway SARIN attack. On the morning of March 20th, 1995, during peak rush hour in Tokyo, members of the religious cult Om Shinryaku carried out a coordinated chemical attack on the city's subway system. 5 attackers boarded different trains on 3 major subway lines converging at Kasumigaseki Station, the heart of Japan's government district. Each attacker carried plastic bags filled with liquid sarin, a nerve agent originally developed for chemical warfare. Using sharpened umbrella tips, they punctured the bags and exited the trains, leaving the poison to evaporate inside crowded subway cars and underground stations. At first, commuters felt only mild irritation, burning eyes, difficulty breathing. Some assumed it was a gas leak or construction dust. Trains continued running, stations remained open. Within minutes, people began collapsing. Sarin disrupts the nervous system by blocking enzymes needed to regulate muscle control. Victims experienced vomiting, seizures, paralysis, and respiratory failure. Some lost consciousness where they stood. Others tried to flee, only to collapse on stairways and platforms. Station staff, unaware they were dealing with a nerve agent, attempted to clean the spills using bare hands and paper towels. Many of them were poisoned in the process. Emergency responders arrived without protective gear and were also exposed. By the end of the day, 13 people were dead. More than 5,000 sought medical treatment. Thousands suffered long-term neurological and vision damage. The attack did not rely on explosives or firearms. It exploited the confined spaces, ventilation systems, and density of a modern public transit network. The trains themselves became delivery systems. Om Shinryaku had previously tested chemical weapons on a smaller scale and had attempted an earlier sarin release in Matsumoto in 1994. Authorities failed to connect the incidents in time. After the subway attack, police raids uncovered chemical facilities, stockpiles of precursor materials, and plans for additional mass casualty attacks. The cult's leader, Shoko Asahara, was arrested and later executed. The Tokyo subway system resumed normal operation within days. The attack remains one of the deadliest uses of chemical weapons against civilians in modern history. 2005 London bombings. On the morning of July 7, 2005, 4 suicide bombers targeted London's public transportation system during the weekday rush hour. 3 attackers detonated explosives almost simultaneously on underground trains. One bomb exploded between King's Cross and Russell Square. Another detonated near Edgware Road. A third went off at Aldgate Station. Nearly an hour later, a 4th bomber detonated his device on the upper deck of a double-decker bus in Tavistock Square after failing to board an earlier train. The bombs were homemade and packed into backpacks. The explosions tore through train cars and bus interiors, killing passengers instantly and trapping survivors inside twisted wreckage. Underground tunnels filled with smoke, dust, and debris. Lights went out. Communications failed. Emergency services initially believed there had been a power surge. Trains were stopped. Stations were evacuated. Conflicting information delayed a coordinated response. In total, 52 civilians were killed and more than 700 were injured. It was the deadliest terrorist attack in the United Kingdom since World War II. The bombers were British citizens inspired by extremist ideology. No warning was given, no demands were made. The attacks were designed to strike ordinary commuters in confined spaces where escape was impossible.
Public transportation across London was shut down. Mobile phone networks were overwhelmed. Hospitals activated mass casualty protocols. In the aftermath, extensive surveillance footage was reviewed. Emergency response procedures were revised, and public transit security was permanently altered. The bombings demonstrated how a small number of individuals could cripple a major city by targeting its transportation arteries. St. Petersburg metro bombings. On April 3, 2017, during the afternoon commute, an improvised explosive device detonated inside a metro train traveling between Sinaya Plosket and Technologiski Institute stations in St. Petersburg, Russia. The bomb exploded inside a packed train car while it was underground. The blast tore through the interior, killing passengers instantly and filling the tunnel with smoke and dust. Emergency braking stopped the train inside the tunnel rather than at a platform, complicating evacuation. 14 people were killed. More than 50 were injured. A second explosive device was later found and defused at Ploshchad Vostayanya station. Authorities shut down the entire metro system. Mobile networks were restricted, and armed police flooded transit hubs across the city. The attacker was identified as a Russian citizen born in Kyrgyzstan. Officials classified the incident as terrorism. The metro reopened later that night under heavy security. Baku metro bombings. In 1994, Azerbaijan's capital experienced 2 deadly attacks on its metro system during a period of political instability following the collapse of the Soviet Union. The first bombing occurred on March 19th aboard a crowded train near the 20 Yanvar station. A bomb detonated during evening rush hour, killing 14 people and injuring dozens. The second attack followed on July 3rd at the 28 May station, where another explosive device detonated on a train, killing 13 more. The attacks exposed vulnerabilities in aging infrastructure and security during a time when the country was already destabilized by war and internal unrest. The perpetrators were later linked to separatist and extremist groups. Public transportation was disrupted for weeks. Armed guards were deployed across the system. Minsk metro bombing. On April 11, 2011, during the evening rush hour, a bomb detonated at Oktyabrskaya station in the Minsk metro in Belarus. The device was hidden near the platform edge, packed with metal fragments to increase casualties. When it exploded, the blast ripped through commuters waiting for trains. 15 people were killed. More than 200 were injured. Authorities immediately sealed the metro and launched one of the largest security operations in the country's history. Within days, 2 suspects were arrested, tried, and later executed. The attack led to permanent increases in surveillance and security throughout the Minsk transit system. New York City subway shooting. On April 12, 2022, during the morning commute in Brooklyn, a man wearing a gas mask released smoke grenades inside a subway car on the N line and opened fire with a handgun. The smoke filled the train car, disorienting passengers and obscuring visibility. As the train approached the 36th Street station, shots rang out inside the confined space. 10 people were shot. 13 others were injured while trying to escape. The attacker fled, but was arrested the following day. Authorities classified the incident as an act of mass violence targeting public transportation. Subway service across multiple lines was suspended. The attack reignited concerns over security in one of the world's largest transit systems.